Thank you for doing this with me today. I'm really happy to finally get to do this interview. I feel like this has been a long time in the making. But I'll let you introduce yourself today. My name is Elsie, as y'all know, and I'm here today with
D2X.
Yeah.
From the south side of Chicago.
Yeah, from the south side of Chicago. We're in Toronto today.
Yeah.
How are you liking the city so far?
This is my second day out here. It's beautiful. I want to see more than the CN Tower, of course.
Of course.
So me and my manager, Andrew Walker, we've been just looking some things up online, just trying to enjoy the scene, enjoy the moment. Got a big show coming up, so just want to just soak in this moment and remind myself of
how far you've come.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, definitely. So I just want to get straight into your music. Hotel 1105, one of my favorite albums to drop last year. Follow up from The Color Blue, which was amazing as well. How are you feeling about the reception and everything going on?
To be honest with you, right now at this point in time, I'm a little bit more grateful for it. And I guess I've been giving myself a chance to have a little bit more clarity with being appreciative of what I made, because to be honest, when it came out, I was a little hard on myself.
Oh, I see. In what
because
way?
Because the things that I talked about on the album, going through a lot of hardships, trying to figure myself out and dealing with a lot of internal things. I was just thinking, you ever hear the saying, when so much, in life is kind of coming out of you, coming at you.
I feel you.
It's that breakthrough, the door is about to break. And I felt I was always saying to myself, man, when I drop this album, this is going to be the one.
You felt
I'm praying about
pressure.
it. I thought, on myself. I thought that was going to be the one, and I was going to just shoot up out of here this is the one, I'm going to blow up. And then I dropped it, and it did well. And number one, I want to thank you for being so supportive.
For sure,
And then I just realized, all right, this did help me get a step further in my career.
But
this isn't that moment where, things just shoot and you this blow up kind of mentality. So what I learned was it's more so just about the building blocks that it takes to continue to build and, be the best that you can be at being a musician. And it also gave me a lot of thick skin, because now the way I look at things is we really don't know when that next door is going to open, or that idea of whatever that looks like is more so about just the steps that it takes along the journey. And every single release, every little thing that you do, you should be appreciative of, because if I didn't put that out, I wouldn't be where I'm at in this time in my life today. So
that makes so much sense. I think, even as a creative, the process, learning to love the process, because a lot of times we're so focused on the result, and the process is learning to love that is difficult, but I think it's necessary.
Yeah.
For everyone.
I've played it more, and it's just every time I play it, it gets hard to listen to. So that's another thing. But the part of completing it and putting it out and knowing that it's been able to have an impact on other people, that's what makes me happy. And I feel at the end of the day, that's what I'm ultimately here to do on this earth, is to utilize my experience to help others. So at the end of the day, taking the numbers away and all these little metrics and just, numerals that society sometimes place on us as the importance of completing something. I feel the most important thing of creating anything is literally that therapy that you have with completion. So that's just literally my main focus with everything that I'm doing moving forward. And it's a reminder to me, I'm going in the right direction, because I'm making what I love and I'm doing what I love to do.
I wanted to speak about the concept of Hotel 1105. I feel like it's such a specific, thing. And I was listening to the album. I was listening to it on my way here, and I'm I could piece some parts of the puzzle together, but like, what is Hotel 1105? And looking at the album cover makes me even a little more curious to know that. So I kind of want to know, like, I feel like you were world building, and I kind of want to know what that is.
I was with my ex-wife at the time. This was probably 2020 when I first came up with the idea. So ironically, I was in a hotel, and it was our first anniversary at the time. So it was November 5th. It was around that time period, and I'm like, you know what? We're in a hotel, and I'm like, aha, that should be the idea for my next album. And the concept that I started off with, and that's why you see like the palm trees and the island and just like a very like vibrant kind of vibe, is because it was literally just a celebration of us like being married, finally getting our own place together, like a celebration of literally just like that next step into knowing what love is and building towards that. And then what happened was life, and the album just took a complete
different turn.
And then I started picking up, it started meaning even more to me, that title. Like then it came like 2022, and I lost my grandmother on November 5th, which added, and this is not even like planned or anything, just this is just life. Then I found out from my mom like a week later, or like 2 weeks later, like around that time period, like I was supposed to be born on November 5th, and I was actually born October 29th, a week before. So that kind of, it screwed my mind up, and I'm like, wow, like, okay, even though a lot of these things that I'm dealing with, comes with a lot of, I was definitely dealing with a lot of pain. But what I will say is, it also gave me the opportunity to like realize, like, all right, what I'm making right now isn't even, it's just not me. It's not me. It's more of to me, like, I really believe like therapeutic, and just like very, like, I feel like just it's like a spiritual thing. Like, I feel like I've always feel like just God sometimes places little things in my life that I might not even know the meaning of until later.
Eventually makes sense.
It became its own thing on its own without me even doing it. So
that's so interesting. Wow. Now it makes sense to me. That 1105 November 5th. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense now. You actually spoke about the artwork, which is something I wanted to talk about. The way I discovered you was very funny. I remember scrolling. I used to have a podcast back then. Nothing came out of that podcast.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, but I used to have a podcast, and I was looking for someone to do the cover. And I was scrolling on Twitter, and I remember coming across the cover of Color Blue. And it just caught my eye immediately. I'm like, damn, what is this? And I did a little bit of research, and I saw that it was an album cover. And just because of how good the cover was, I listened to the project off the strength of that. And then Hotel 1105 comes out, and it also has, this very intriguing cover that, I've had a lot of people just ask me randomly, like, what's that? Just based on the cover. And I want to ask, how important is artwork to you, when, curating a project?
To me, it means the world. Just even dating back to like, just literally like just time periods in my life. Like when I was in middle school, I used to draw a lot. So like my idea back then was like literally I'm not gonna say I was like the coldest like artist or anything, but I was pretty good at drawing, and I always used to draw like stadiums and arenas and just anything that was like literally larger than my
I see, like your
situation. So I think that's always intrigued me about art, is like literally trying to create this idea and turn it into like a more grand kind of thing with this idea I'm trying to get off. So I feel like with the Color Blue and Hotel 1105, I literally try my best to like find like the dopest painters or digital artists that I see online, and I'm like, all right, something about them that I feel like can kind of capture this idea that I have in my head. And a lot of times, like, some of us, we might not always have like the resources to be able to get certain things off if it comes, even like it's budgeting for videos, whatever. So it's just like, I like to find a lot of like talented, unknown artists that do pretty well, like with the art online. The reception is great. I'm like, you know what, this would be a great time period for me to collaborate with somebody. And I feel like that's something that I always want to stay true in my music. Like I always want to have like the dopest album covers. Like
I
so
feel like
that's
cool.
like a goal of mine.
I'm into
always.
the music, but I'm into the aesthetic as well. Hotel 1105 has a lot of jazzy influence, a lot of soul influence. What albums were you listening to, like, while working on that project? I feel like I already know the answer to a few, based on like your tweets. But I'd love to know like the influences on there. Yeah,
people like close friends of mine, like certain people make fun of me a little bit what I listen to, because I'm only 26, but
you have an old soul.
Yeah, I go back and played. I was playing music from like the 1940s.
Oh,
and
damn, the jazz?
Yeah, I was playing like a lot of ballads, so like Nat King Cole.
Okay.
Coltrane? Nina Simone.
Yeah, okay.
John Coltrane as well. Miles Davis. I was playing Frank Sinatra.
Oh, damn.
Who else? Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah, now
I was going back to a lot of old stuff, like
coming from I get it when people say make fun, but like coming from a fellow music enthusiast, I get it. Like
so
I get it fully. Like I have these phases where I just go into the jazz. So yeah,
there's a lot of old recordings. So I guess, and then on top of just the music aspect, I was also getting a lot into like film. So I was watching a lot of old school 007 James Bond movies from the 60s. Those were the only ones I wanted to watch. Like the old, very like, it was just like a lot of like the graphics and stuff was a little like kind of like cheesy, but it was cool to see. Like I was just like, the idea that I had for the album also was like the James Bond aspect, and along with like that old school kind of style was more so like aesthetic wise theme. And then I was literally trying to study James Bond, and it was Sean Connery was the original James Bond. And what I noticed was, I'm like, all right, what I like about this is that aesthetically and just like the way that he carries himself was the other thing that stood out to me. Like no matter what kind of problems that he deals with, he handles all of them in like a suave, smooth way. So that's kind of how I wanted to approach it with the rollout too. Yeah, I'm like, that's why I want to wear the suit. I want to walk around in the hotel and look kind of cool. But really, I'm dealing with all of these problems that could literally tear anybody down.
It's almost like, that perspective of I have all these issues, but I'm choosing to deal with them in a suave, calm way. Yep. That makes a lot of sense to me. Creating for you, are you a production guy to start with? Like how does your creative process look like? Do you start with lyrics written down first before you go sound, or you start with sound and work backwards? Like how does that work for you?
It's always production first. Dating back to my first project, I spend anywhere between usually like 6 months or more, like working on production. I'll always hit up like producers that I work with, and literally, I haven't even wrote anything, but I'm literally already knowing in my mind kind of what I want to do. Like. So we're going through records from the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, dating on back, like a lot of hip hop. It can be just anything for like sample ideas. So that's why like a lot of like the jazz is also like big. I've always been a big fan of that. And we're literally just crate digging pretty much for months. And once that gives me an idea of what I want to talk about, and also like the bulk of what I want the sound to be. And then I spend a lot of time writing too. Like,
right. Yeah,
it takes me a long time.
I could tell, because like, which to me really stands out, because one thing about like right now, you know, people talking about the Kendrick Drake beef, but one thing I've realized is that it has a lot of people paying attention to lyrics, which to me is a win for hip hop. Because with the new generation, it's really, you know, lyrics sort of take a back seat. So it's really refreshing to see someone that's really, like, I was listening to, and I could feel like, yes, he put a lot of thought into his songwriting.
Glad you said that. Another thing that I want to add on that is like, one thing that I did do differently with Hotel 1105 was the majority of the lyrics that I wrote on the album came from like my personal journal. And I literally just took, not everything, but it was certain songs, especially like Hotel 1105 with Love. Like, I took pieces from certain things that I said, like literally just how I'm feeling for the day, and I kind of put it all together as one song. So that was a way for me to kind of live and kind of cope with what I was going through, and that's kind of where I feel like emotionally you could feel it as well, because all of that came from really how I felt and what I was dealing with.
Definitely. I could feel that, especially even in your delivery of those lyrics. What is your favorite song on the album?
Dang, that's hard. My favorite song to perform is Waves and Moonlights. I love ending shows with that. That album really helped me kind of figure out how to make like a really, really nice like set list. So I love ending shows with that song. I really like Sweet Life.
Oh, I love that one. Such a good opener.
But like my favorite, I'm not gonna lie, it's hard for me to choose right now. I will say when I was working on the album, like I loved everything, but like Faith was the one that I was riding around in my car. This is like 2022. This a year before, and I'm in the summer. Like, I can't wait for them to hear this. Like, I just can't wait for them to hear this. And the process of like just waiting and then finally it comes out, and then people get a chance to pick what their favorite songs is. It's beautiful. It's hard for me to choose mine, but it changes often. So.
Venice. We close to God with this way that we living. Expensive boat streaming through harbor, chandeliers lit it. Dreaming of brighter lens, rest we blessed and we gifted. Hot summers playing nostalgia ultra, our waves lifted.
I have a question for you. If you had a chance to work with a dream producer, like and pick like 3 names, who would those be?
That's a good question. Kanye, but like Kanye from 2004. Like, I need the old Kanye.
I get it.
But definitely old Kanye. Who else? Pharrell would be dope.
I could hear you on something.
Pharrell would be dope. Yeah, Pharrell would be dope. That'll be different for me.
I could hear you. I could even hear you on The Alchemist, Madlib.
That's a good man. Thank you.
I can hear you on that.
So it'll be definitely like Alchemist, Kanye, and gotta throw Madlib in there. That's my 3 right there.
And just alongside that question, a dream collaboration for you. If you were to pick 3 names, what would those look like? Like getting a collaboration with these artists is like, yes, this is who I've wanted to work with.
Well, it wouldn't be somebody that people would expect. It's literally off my own personal taste. But if I could do a collaboration with anybody, I'm going with Vince Staples.
Ooh.
I'm going with Little Sims.
Oh, I love Little Sims.
And my 3rd one, I really love to work with Common. That's my 3. Yeah.
Little Sims,
She's amazing.
Love her.
I think the type of sound that she has is very organic. Yeah, and honestly, I don't think I even got a chance to talk about that project that she just dropped, the Drop 7. But I really like it.
Same.
I play it in my car a lot.
It's very out of the box. Like I was saying it. Like a lot of people, when you do something new, it might not be met with the best reception, because I had a lot of people like say, oh, we don't love the project. But after listening to it, I'm like, I love when artists can step out of the box. I really like Drop
and I feel like, to be honest, as artists, I feel like obviously depending on who you are, but like I feel like I hear things differently. I literally just listen to like just the creativity and effort that people put into music. Like everything I'm learning now, especially after putting out my last project, like just continuously just make whatever you feel that you genuinely are like proud to do, even if it's something small, because at the end of the day, as long as you stay in that process of literally like, I'm just going to create whatever, because no matter what I put out, good or bad, people are going to still say something anyway. So regardless, I feel like I'm always hyped for artists doing something different. And I think we need that more.
I agree.
You know, stop caring what people think all the time.
I agree. Yeah. For me, like even the rule I have with creating content is just like, if I create something and I'm proud of it and it really resonates with me, it's going to resonate with at least one other person. So I always keep that in mind, that, yeah, it's not just about how many people love it, but it might just be the right person loving that. So I really love that. I really, really love that perspective. Do you pay a lot of attention to like current music coming out right now? What are some albums or songs that's dropped recently that, you know, you felt inspired by?
I've been listening to, I literally stay in like up to date with hip hop 24/7.
Of course.
Albums, like something as of recent, to be honest, what's the most recent thing right now is this Kendrick and Drake thing. So that's all I've been playing. I've been playing a little bit of both. Been playing Family Matters, Carter 2. Okay. I've been running it like front to back. So lately, the music choices that I've been playing is more so artists that I grew up on that had like hunger and literally like that fire. And like I feel like that's the time period that we in right now in hip hop. Like people want to hear people like rap for real again.
Rap for real again.
So that's all I've been listening to.
Facts. I think I really, really hope this whole climate right now sparks that hunger for people to rap again. Because I, for one, I want to hear people rap again.
Make some noise if y'all feeling good to be alive one more time. You know, I took a break for a few years just to...
One thing I feel like stands out with you in particular, especially in the underground scene, is how well you utilize your social presence. I feel like you're very tapped in. How is that for you? Just cultivating a social presence. How has that been for you, and how is that going?
It's honestly it's smoother now. I think at one point in time, maybe like last year, I would say, it was getting a little difficult for me because I didn't know how to organize myself on Twitter or on Instagram or all of these things, because a lot of times I was putting like my mental health in the way of the internet. And I'm like, you know what I think what changed for me to make it easier to deal with is I started just trusting like how I genuinely feel more. Like I know every day I'm gonna do something productive towards my music career because I love what I do, and I have a lot of like big goals in mind that I have set for myself. But sometimes it's okay to take a rest, take a break.
It is okay.
So I feel like if I'm going strong online for like a month straight or some weeks or whatever, then one of those weeks out the month, I'm just gonna take some time to like, you know what?
Facts.
I'm okay. Because it was times, you know, I used to always tell my friends this, it was time periods where I felt like if I went quiet for a day or two, I felt like I was falling behind. People gonna forget about me, and it got very dark.
It happens because, like, you know, the internet has a very short attention span. So you're like, I always tell people as a content creator, sometimes I feel like I'm in prison. Like with
that's how I feel. Seriously,
because it's just like you take a few. Like I remember December because I was gonna be with family, and I just wanted to be intentional, and I was away for a few weeks. And I had people like messaging me, like, Elsie, I'm not seeing you post a video. Are you okay? Hope nothing happened. And I'm like, damn, I'm just taking a break, man. So like, I get it fully, man. And I feel like it's admirable because, you know, I talk to a lot of artists that are coming up, and a lot of them have issues with, you know, coming online, cultivating a social presence. A lot of artists want to be mysterious. You know, I get it, but seeing the fact that you push your work, I just feel like it's super admirable.
And I think that what made it easier for me to deal with, even though, like I said, sometimes it's tough, is I feel like once you get yourself in a habit of doing certain things, it's gonna become like second nature to you. So I know when I hop online, like I might just say something for the day that I just want to check in with people, see how people doing. I'm always responding to messages through my newsletters that I send through emails, to talking to fans on Instagram, Twitter. People always have questions about certain things, and I'm just always just trying to find a way to, be tapped in. Now I'm hopping in the comments on like certain posts on Instagram now. I didn't used to do that, but it's been cool to just. It's cool to find people that are just like you.
Find your community.
Yeah, and I feel like when you do have a strong community and when you build that, it makes it a lot easier to be able to be present online and also being like always being you can update people in ways where like it's an understanding. So if I am quiet for a few days, like people, I've done enough to the point that people are like
people are like, he'll be
exactly.
back. Yeah.
So that's all. It just takes communication and just a little bit of flow.
Just finding that balance.
Yep.
Okay, so this next question is a little fun.
Okay.
If you were stuck on an island and you could only bring 3 albums with you, not including your albums.
Okay.
Which ones would you bring and why?
Okay. Number 1, I'm doing Kinda Blue by Miles Davis.
Okay.
Just because that album, if I need any kind of therapy, or I need to calm my mind down, or just being able to like not hear words, I think that flows well with the scenery.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes
the vibe
you don't want to hear
anything.
anything. You just want to hear the music.
Yeah, I need. That's number
Yeah.
1. Number 2, Kinda Blue would get me in a nice mental space. Something that's for the soul and for the heart. I would go with Love Deluxe by Sade.
Oh, that's
number
that's
2.
a favorite of mine.
That's number 2.
That's such a huge favorite of mine.
And I got a third. My third album would be. That's a tough one.
He's really thinking.
Yeah, because I play so much music, but it's certain ones that really get me
Really just-
through life.
Yeah.
So I think my third one would be go with the College Dropout by Kanye West. That'd be my 3.
That's my favorite Kanye
Yeah.
album. Like when I tell people that,
Yeah.
they're like, "Well, that's crazy," but to me, that album is like pre-workout. It just puts a battery in my back. Like,
And it's so many songs. Like when I feel like, and I'm sure you can relate too. Like I love playing Last Call when I'm when
all
I'm
the
like
time.
when I'm dealing with stuff in life, and then I be on the road, and it's like 12 minutes
Listen
long.
to the whole thing.
Listen to the entire
The whole thing.
and I always get teary-eyed like that last minute when he starts to
Right.
talk about when he finally got that deal.
that record deal.
Man, that it hits the soul every time. So
I get it.
I would play that for the rest of my life for sure.
And that album hits different for me. Like just hearing what he went through, and then just hearing the conviction he had at such an early point in his career when no one like gave a fuck, you know.
Even the documentary, like seeing him in those label meetings or just randomly there, just
And that
bursting
no one
in and just
cared.
but like
it's amazing.
yeah, and then just to tap in on Kanye for a second, like even though he has his moments where it's like some things you don't agree with, but what I could appreciate about him is literally like I never seen someone that passionate and believing in himself so much when no one else did, and proved everything right to himself.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what
man.
life is all about to me.
Yeah,
so
right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. If I was stuck on an island, College Dropout would come with me. It would come with me. I think I might go with Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
That album is different.
I got
to
that on
me.
CD.
Yeah, it changed. It changed like music. The way I saw music, I feel like that album changed a lot. And I probably might. I don't know. I might go with maybe Diamond Live by Sade. Yeah,
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one too.
I'm a big fan of that.
This This is God's light, running out the tunnel. See the light, I hustle. See the fans from the huddle. Young man rumble. Battled all my life to grow. This is just a poet's note. Rolls through the way I coast. Just a string of what I wrote. I'ma make it to the land. Can't flash that bigger plan.
What has been your favorite points or experience in your career so far till date?
It could be. It's a lot of things, to be honest. I feel like even being out here, being on my first tour like ever, and literally it's just took me and my my partner Andrew Walker to we just worked together and put the business together, and just being able to just take that chance of getting out and seeing different things. We are here in Toronto. We go to Montreal for the weekend. We got a show in New York City next week, and then we come back to Chicago for like my first festival ever.
Wow.
So I say that to say, like, my favorite part of this is literally just being able to get outside and run into people that I literally might have had a conversation with online or who's just been watching. Like, his fans hit me up from like Boston to Jersey to like literally a lot of freaking like states, and they're saying like, man, I'm coming, or I'm traveling, or I wish I could have came, but I had finals, and just things like that. Like, it's a beautiful thing to me to know, like, when I first started, it's a full circle moment to see, like, now that I've been able to perform, because I remember it was a time in my life when, like, I put out my first song in, like, 2017, and I remember that time period. I was, like, in college at the time. I was a freshman in my dorm room, and I'm trying to put my music out. Didn't have any, like, recording equipment or anything. I'm on SoundCloud, and I'm recording songs off my laptop with the mic audio like on there, and I'm putting these songs out, and I'm literally just DMing everybody that I know or don't know, and telling them, like, sending them my song links, and they like stop sending me this stuff. Like, I done heard all kind of stuff.
Man, sometimes people could be.
And then that's because at the time I didn't know what I was doing. Like, but as time progressed, things just started growing and changing, and now it's crazy to see, like, the people that I felt like I looked up to through music, if they were underground or even mainstream, it's like now I'm becoming that person for a bunch of younger and older people. And I feel like that's amazing. So that's been a favorite part of my come up, is literally just being able to see the impact that you have on others.
I feel like hip hop is I love the underground. I'm gonna be honest, like, sometimes for the last few years, I've enjoyed the underground more than I've enjoyed, like, the mainstream.
Same.
Yeah, there's just so many, like, so much cool experimentation. But if I was to ask you, like, in the underground scene, alongside yourself, who are some of your favorites?
My personal favorites, I really like Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Mike is really good.
His last album?
Yeah, Burning Desire. Then he had the one with Tony Seltzer.
Fire.
I forget, Pinball. That was fire. Another thing that I really like about him is the way that he's able to also build community and kids, and it's just even older folks like are literally coming out to these shows. And he's pouring his heart out like every single night. And to be honest, that has like given me like motivation to do what I do. I really like. He's also like one of my close friends, and this like entire like music thing. Bruiser Wolf from Detroit.
Yes.
He's under like Bruiser Brigade with Danny Brown, and I just went to a show that he did at the Metro, a part of Danny Brown's tour, like back in Chicago, and it was fire. He has a different kind of style, but like literally if you literally just take a chance to listen, the way you could dissect his words and metaphors and the way he bends bars, it's insane.
I think I'll have to tap in more.
Insane. I've never heard anybody rap like that, and seeing him perform, it was incredible. So that's another one. And another underground artist that I really listen to a lot, besides Mike, Bruiser Wolf, I like Mavi as well.
Oh, I like
Mavi. Is really good, and I like Mavi. Everyone knows like self-love, like amazing. Yeah. So those are like my three favorite underground artists to listen to.
Yeah, every time I kind of want like, an ego boost, I like Sense by Mavi. I play that song.
That one is good too. Yeah, that one is good too.
All the time. Yeah, definitely. I love all those picks. I just feel like, there's just so many that I'm just thinking of. Even with producers, like I think of people like Overcast.
Overcast is fire.
Just so many, just so much good music coming on the underground. So yes, I love that.
But no, all right, we can drop it. Let's go. Wait, side to side, come on, south side, east side, west side, north side, Chi-town, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah, we gon' make it to the moonlight.
Finally, I just feel like the goal of every good artist is to make the listener feel something with your music. What do you want the listener to feel when they listen to D2X?
To be honest, I just want people to always like when you come to my music and you hear me, it's coming from like not just being it coming from like a natural place, but I want you to hear like the rawness of my the way that I feel and what I'm thinking. And I think that's something that I'm continuously trying to master every time that I'm working on new music. It's literally like, how would you say this if you was just talking to your friend? No matter what emotion or feeling that I'm feeling that day, how can I portray that through the microphone? So a lot of times, even when I'm done writing like songs, I'm always working on my delivery. And I find like a spot where like no one's around, like in my house, and like I literally like close the door, turn the music up. I'm freaking like, it's like, it looks like I'm yelling at the wall, but like I'm literally just trying to find different kind of ways to come off.
Pockets.
And if I can pull that energy out of me when no one's watching, then once it's time to perform and once it's time to record, literally it's just coming out regular. So that's what I'm trying to.
Facts. Well, we're looking forward to the show, and then we know you're gonna kill it. But yeah, this has been amazing talking with you today. Once again, I'm so glad this happened. When I wanted to start doing interviews last year, I made like a short list of artists that I wanted to get. Like your name was on there.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate it.
This is kind of like, yes, I've ticked that off. So really happy to have you here. And yeah, so proud of how far you've come and how far I know you're going to go.
Thank you. And I also want to give you your flowers because like I always say, and I'll tell this to other people even when you're not around, like just to see what you've been able to do for yourself is amazing. Also feel like it's very hard for even women to come up in this industry and even in life. So I'm just telling you to let you know, like personally, I'm proud, and
thank you.
No matter what, if it's the year 2037, like I'm still gonna be supporting. So just keep going, thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. But yeah, thank you, and we've come to the end of our interview.
Cool.
That's it.
Yeah.